Hi, so I did something recently, and pretty much everyone I know is divided right now on whether it was the right thing to do or not. So I need some advice on that. Basically, a couple of weeks ago, I found out my husband had sold some toys that I used to have as a child, which I had kept away because they were very important to me. They held a lot of sentimental value, and I did not want to lose them, so I stored them in a box in a small spare room that we use as our storeroom. And a couple of weeks back, I don't know what got into my husband, but he decided to do some cleaning and he got rid of them. That whole box just gone. He had a garage sale without even talking to me first. I was away on a business trip, and when I came back home, that room was practically empty. There was hardly anything there, and he told me that he planned on turning the room into something that we could actually use instead of just a storeroom for garbage that we never even needed. In the beginning, I was kind of impressed by everything that he had done because that room had always been a bit cluttered and now we could actually use it. But then, when I started looking, I realized that he had thrown away a lot of things that meant something to me. Some of them I could do without, like my knickknacks from college that I had gathered over the years, but never really used anymore because it looked tacky. But then, when I realized that he had sold the box of childhood toys that I had, I lost it. I was already kind of annoyed that he had sold all these things without even talking to me first. But I had tried to keep it to myself because I knew he was quite happy with what he had accomplished. He thought that it was going to be a good surprise for me. But then, when I saw that that box of childhood toys was gone, I just couldn't handle it because it meant a lot to me. And he knew that. It was not like he had no idea what the box meant. But even then, he didn't think twice before selling it. His defense was that I don't even use those toys anymore. We don't even plan on having kids anytime soon, and even if he did, those toys were too old-fashioned for our baby to be playing with, and so he just didn't see the point of keeping it around anymore. And now, let me give you guys some context as for why I am so upset, because so far I'm pretty sure nobody would think that what he did was wrong, but trust me, after getting to know the full truth, I don't think people will be able to support him at all. Because the toys that he sold so thoughtlessly were few of the last few memories that tied me with my parents. And like I said, he knew that. He knew how incredibly important those toys were and always have been to me. When I was 8 years old, my parents passed away in a car accident while returning home from a wedding. I was staying with my aunt at the time, and later on, she was the one who adopted me and raised me. That box of toys was one of the few things that I had brought to my aunt's place with me, so I wouldn't get bored. And after I learned that my parents were not going to come back, I never touched them again, but I carried them around with me wherever I went. So, you guys can understand how important it was for me, and my husband knew all about me. But even then, he chose to sell all those toys, and he told me that I needed to move on because it's been 2 decades and he thought it was unhealthy for me to keep holding on like that and hoarding those toys. And they were not exactly in bad condition, so he thought that selling them so that some other kid could have them would be the right thing to do, without even thinking how it would affect me. Anyway, we had a big fight about it, and I thought that he would make it up to me by getting those toys back from whoever he sold it to, or at least maybe apologizing to me, but he did not do either of those things. In fact, he made it pretty clear that he was not going to apologize. He started ignoring me and sleeping on the couch, and for the next few days after our fight, it was really hard for me to come back home and pretend as if it did not bother me that we were living under the same roof and not speaking to each other. I cried myself to sleep every night. But I don't think it bothered him at all. He went about his days as usual, and for him, it was obvious that being right was more important than being considerate of me and my feelings. And then I started getting angry instead of upset. I just couldn't understand how he could hurt me like this and not care about it at all. So I decided to get back at him by selling something that he considered precious. So without his knowledge, I took a bunch of pictures of his gaming setup, and I know for a fact that he loves it. He makes it a point to spend at least a few hours playing video games with his friends every week, and nobody is allowed to bother him during that time, not even me. Obviously, it's very dear to him, and it's also very expensive, but I didn't need the money, so I decided to put it up for sale for a fraction of the original price, and soon enough, I had buyers lining up. I found somebody who lived close by, and 2 days ago I had it sold and moved out while he was at work, and when he came back home he finally spoke to me after almost 3 weeks of living under the same roof and not having any contact at all. But he was not here to apologize to me. He was only speaking to me to yell at me and ask about his gaming setup. He was totally losing his mind about it, and I explained what had happened very calmly, and I even used the same defense that he had used when he had been arguing with me before. I told him very calmly that the gaming setup was taking up a lot of space in our house, and he was right. We need more space now. Besides, the other day he had spoken about not having kids yet or planning on having kids anytime soon, which is why he thought it was okay to sell my childhood toys. But I thought we should remedy that, and if we were going to have kids, we would need the space, so why not get rid of his gaming setup? Besides, he was right. I was a grown-up now, so I really did not need those toys, and since he was a grown-up as well, he did not need to play video games with his friends because he had a real life. Responsibilities. He was a married man, for God's sake, so he needed to act like it, and he needed to start prioritizing family. It was incredibly satisfactory to see him get so upset and frustrated because that's exactly how I had been feeling, and now he was feeling the same way, and he was trying to argue with me, but I just kept replying in the same monotonous and polite voice, which infuriated him even more, and in the end he was just crying on the floor. Obviously, I did feel bad for him because at the end of the day, he's my husband. And in spite of everything that has happened so far, I won't say that I don't love him at all. I definitely still do. And I'm really anxious about how or whether we will even be able to work our way out of this mess. But all that being said and done, I was still pretty happy with myself, and all of a sudden, he did believe in the power of sentiments and memories, which is why he was practically begging me to speak to the buyer and get all that stuff back. I told him I won't be able to do that because I had sold it for the fraction of the price, and that got him even more riled up. He ended up leaving the house for the whole night, and then when he came back home the next day, his eyes were all red and puffy, and it was clear that he had been crying. But I didn't ask him much. I did not even apologize. He just came to me himself and told me that he would be moving out for a couple of days to go stay with a friend, and he would arrange for my toys to be returned to me. In the meantime, he would appreciate it if I did not call or text or make any attempt to contact him at all. I didn't say anything. I let him leave, and then I told all my friends and family what I'd done because I really needed to know if I had overreacted or not. My aunt and uncle and my cousins think that I did the right thing and it was totally valid, and so did a couple of my friends, but then a few of my friends also think that what I did was way out of bounds, and that I could have solved the whole thing by speaking to him. But here's the thing, he was the one who had not been speaking to me earlier. He was the one who had been giving me the cold shoulder even after being the one who had messed up. But anyway, like I said, everyone is pretty divided right now, and so I need to know if I did the right thing or not. AITA for selling my husband's gaming set up for cheap because he sold my childhood toys that I was emotionally attached to. Edit. So I did not mention any of this because I didn't think it would be relevant, but since a lot of you guys have asked. My husband and I have been married for the past 2 years. He and I have been together for almost 6 years. He's 28 male, I'm 28 female. We got together in college, and for 2 years we had a bit of an on and off relationship, but then when I was around 24 we started dating for good, and we've been together since then. He and I have a normal relationship, or at least that's what I thought we did before all of this happened. And I know people are going to ask why we had an on and off relationship when we were in college, so let me just clarify by saying that we didn't have any serious problems. It was just that we were very young and we wanted to explore our lives. We didn't think that we would be able to do that if we were tied down to each other, so we were not strictly exclusive, so to speak. But after we got a bit older, we decided to fully commit to each other. So that was that. Basically, we fooled around with other people for a bit, but never when we were with each other. And that's why we had that on and off relationship, because we were young and in college. But anyway, after we got back together for real, we never had any serious problems. And yes, we have had common fights like every other couple, but nothing of this level. And I really think he is being totally insensitive right now, knowing what he did to me. He's known all along, even when we were friends. He knew how I had lost my parents, and even back then he had seen that collection of toys. So I just don't understand how he thought that I would be okay with his decision of selling it. Regardless of how long it's been, it's just stupid. Update 1. Hi, so it's been a week since my husband left, and honestly, I don't know what to make of this. Do I want to get back with him? Absolutely. I really wish that we could put all of this behind us and have a fresh start, and I really love him. So I would love to get back with him and live happily ever after, blah, blah, blah. But I know that that's not how real life works. So I know that this is just going to get worse if we don't talk to each other, and he has made it very clear that he doesn't want to hear from me for now. So I'm going to respect that, because right now I don't even know what I would say to him if I had to reach out to him. Besides, I don't think that I did anything wrong. I just gave him a taste of his own medicine. And if he can act like he doesn't care about my feelings, that I'm overreacting about something that affects me deeply, and if he can act like he doesn't care about my feelings, that I'm overreacting about something that affects me deeply, and if he can get by without me just fine, then I think it would be beneath my dignity to go begging for a conversation with him. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to reach out unless he does so first. And if that means that our marriage won't work out, then I guess that's just something that I'll have to risk. Because at the end of the day, my dignity and self-respect is very important to me. And so was that box of childhood toys. He can believe whatever he wants to. He can make me the bad guy and think that I'm making a big deal out of nothing. But he knows for a fact that that box and the toys meant a lot to me. Especially given the circumstances. I mean, what was he even thinking? And then he tried to turn it around on me. That was unforgivable. So if people think that I'm the one who made it worse, then so be it. He had every opportunity to come and talk to me. I mean, he had 3 weeks to come talk to me, for God's sake, and he chose not to do that. Obviously, I was going to snap at some point, and snap I did, and I'm not going to pretend that I regret it, because I really don't. Anyway, all that is beside the point now. Whatever had to happen has happened already, and I cannot go back into the past and change it, and neither can he. As a matter of fact, so we're just going to have to deal with the situation at hand. Actually, he's going to have to deal with it, because I don't think I've done anything wrong, and he clearly doesn't believe he's done anything wrong either, so we are at a stalemate, I guess. I have spoken to my family about this, and everybody thinks that I should give a couple of days, and if he decides that he's okay with coming back to me and giving our relationship a chance by getting marriage counseling or at least trying to sort out the problem, then we are good to go. Or else they will be looking for divorce attorneys for me, because there's really no point in delaying the inevitable. Honestly, it feels crazy that we might get divorced over something like this, so I'm really hoping that it doesn't come to that. But at the end of the day, he has really disrespected and refused to acknowledge my feelings, so I don't know. Maybe it's not that ridiculous to get divorced over something like this, because it is a sentimental topic for me. It is a touchy point for me, and I can't deal with somebody who doesn't respect my feelings and emotions regarding things that are important to me. I don't know how many days I'm going to give it. I've already given it a week of my life, and trust me, I've never been so miserable before. I really want him back. I really want to make it work, but if he doesn't want the same, then I don't know what else I can do. He's upset with me, I get that, but I was also upset with him. But he never made an effort to correct his behavior or even tried to talk to me and sort things out. So I don't know what he expects me to do. He had already told me that he didn't want me to contact him while he was leaving, so I'm just sticking to that. But I don't know for how long I'll be able to do that, because it's already driving me crazy. I mean, I need to know what's going on with us. I need to know what to expect in the future. I mean, he's my husband. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm just so confused and frustrated with all of this. I wish the situation had never even come up, and I wish she had never messed up that whole box situation at all. This is just stupid. Update 2. So it's been 3 days since my previous update, and today I received a box at my door, and guess what? It was a newer cardboard box, but it had all my toys in it. No note, no nothing. But I knew that my husband had somehow arranged for it to make its way back to me. For the next couple of hours, I really had no idea what to do, but then I decided that I had to call him and talk to him, because this was getting ridiculous now. I couldn't just indefinitely wait for him to make up his mind about whether he wanted to be with me or not, so I decided to give him a call about an hour after I received the box. And surprisingly, he picked up. He didn't say anything first. He waited for me to make the first move, and I guess he was waiting for an apology from me. But he was not going to get that. I just told him that I had received the box at my door, and I told him that it was good that he had somehow managed to get it back to me. He said that it wasn't that difficult, and that was that. And there was a big pause in the conversation. Neither of us said anything, and I couldn't take it, so I told him that I really wanted to meet him and talk to him, because this was getting weird. We are a married couple. We needed to talk things out with each other if we wanted to make this work. When he didn't say anything to that, I asked him if he actually even wanted to make it work or not anymore, and then he told me that of course he did, and he would be back home in the evening, but he will not be moving back in with me because he still needed some time to reconcile himself with everything that had happened. I was kind of frustrated by that, so I told him it was really strange that he was choosing to stay with a friend rather than coming back home to his wife and sorting things out with her. Especially when we have already been through a rough patch. I told him that it's not like I've lost feelings for him, and I hope it's the same with him. And he told me that it was, that he still loves me too, and that's why he's even talking to me right now. But at this point, he doesn't know what else to do, because everything's been really messed up for the past couple of weeks. So anyway, we went back and forth on that thing, and then he told me that he will be back home for dinner today, and we could talk things over then. And that's what's happening. In a couple of hours, I'll be meeting him for dinner, and, well, I'll let you guys know how that goes. Update 3. So we had dinner together a couple of hours ago, and I don't really know what to make of it, to be very honest. I can't say that it went very well, because it didn't. And I can't see that it went terribly, because that's not the truth, though. To be honest, it was just weird and awkward to be around each other after so long, after having fought with each other for so long. In the beginning, we did not even know what to say to each other, which was weird because in our previous fight, we always knew exactly what to say. But anyway, one silver lining was that, at least, we were able to talk about what really matters. We were able to get to the bottom of things, at least partially. Things are not yet completely sorted out yet between the two of us, but at least we are getting somewhere and making some headway. Anyway, he told me that the reason he had gotten rid of that box of toys was because he thought that it was depressing for me, because whenever I would look at it, I would always get a sad look on my face. And it would happen literally every time we would open the storeroom to get anything or check anything. And he said that he thought it would be better for us if we did not have that in the house as a constant reminder of what had happened. So that's why he got rid of it, and he thought that I would be happy. But clearly, he had misread the situation, and as it turns out, I actually wanted it with me because it was important to me, even if it made me sad to look at it. But he didn't realize it until much later, and he just thought that I was being crazy and ungrateful about this whole thing and overreacting by choosing not to talk to him. Which is why he chose not to talk to me either, so that's where he messed up. And that's where I decided to get back at him with the whole gaming setup thing and everything. He apologized to me and I told him that I forgive him. And I guess he was expecting me to say that I was sorry as well, but I really wasn't. I thought he deserved what he got, so I didn't say that I was sorry. And I think that's why the conversation went a little sour after that. When we were saying goodbye in the end, he did seem a little put out, but honestly, I really don't think that I'm in the wrong here. And I'm convinced about that. I could say that I was sorry just for the sake of it, just to maintain the peace and get him back, but I'm not going to do that. I need to stay true to myself, especially in a situation like this. So if he can come back without needing me to apologize and stroke his ego or whatever, then good for him. And if not, I'm fine with that as well. It's going to hurt, I won't lie, and say that I don't care at all, but I'm not going to put my dignity aside on this. Update 4. Hey, so it's been 3 days since my last conversation with my husband, and since then he has not tried to speak to me, so today I decided to call him on my own. He didn't pick up at first, so I tried a couple of more times and then he eventually answered the phone. He sounded really put out, so I had to ask him what was going on. He told me that he was very disappointed that I did not apologize to him the other day, and I knew that that's exactly what he was going to say. So I told him what I had already thought of saying to him if he said this, and I said I didn't think I had done anything wrong because he was only having to face the consequences of his own actions. So it wasn't something I felt like I should apologize for. And if he really believes that I did something wrong, then he needs to introspect again, because clearly he thinks that both of us are in the wrong, and that's really not the truth. Then he started telling me that he knew, and he had already realized that what he had done was much worse, but he just hadn't realized it. And I should give him the benefit of the doubt instead of acting like he was the villain all along. He started getting agitated, and he told me that it was like I was trying to paint him to be the bad guy that he really wasn't. And I tried to get him to calm down, but he started yelling at me at some point, and then I hung up because I was not going to be yelled at, especially by someone who is so ridiculously self-centered that he can't even see his own mistakes. Anyway, after that, I gave it an hour, and then he was the one who called me back, and he told me that he needed some more time to figure all of this out on his own head. Because clearly, this is not working right now, and I didn't even bother to reply to that. I just hung up because I don't know what he expects me to say. He's just kept me on the back burner. He keeps our marriage on the back burner, and he thinks it's going to work out when he comes back. I don't even know what to make of this anymore. I'm honestly just exhausted. Update 5. So we're getting a divorce. It's been 6 months. We've tried marriage counseling. It's just not working. He had moved back in with me for a couple of weeks after we sorted it out, but then he had to move back out again because people are fighting too much. We couldn't get ourselves to agree on anything, and so we started marriage counseling, and for a while it felt like things were going well and he might move back in. But well, here we are now, getting a divorce. It was my idea, honestly, because I was getting sick of whatever this is, and it's not been working for a very long time. I guess we were just not ready to give up on this, and to be honest, I think we are much better off on our own. And I'm used to staying on my own now. It's already like I'm not married at all. We just have to deal with the legalities and then we will be done. I'm going to miss having him in my life. I think we both agreed on that, and we said that we were going to stay friends, but let's see. I guess the incident with the childhood toys and everything was just the last straw, because I know I said that things were normal between us, but now looking back, I don't think they ever were. We did have a pattern. I don't want to get into it, but we did, and we realized it only when we started counseling and started looking back on our behavior throughout our relationship for a while. So, yeah, I guess we needed to break out of the pattern, and for now, I think I'm going to stay single for a while. It's sad that it had to end this way, but it's a fresh beginning for both of us, and well, I guess I just hope that we can both make the most of it. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.